When I was 14 years old, I used to sail at a club established by a retired Navy officer. His name was Colonel Haluk. He was a man deeply passionate about sea, keen to train us kids not just to handle a boat, but to become true sailors. After a few years of experience, we grew confident, perhaps a little too confident. One day, we sailed our old wooden boats far out into the Gulf, feeling like masters of the ocean. Suddenly, Colonel Haluk's voice boomed over a megaphone over the shore. "You must come back immediately. There is a storm heading your way, and it has changed direction unexpectedly. Come back!" I heard him, but I was 14. My past knowledge, my limited experience, the mainstream thinking of my peer group told me I was a great sailor. I had never really experienced a true storm, and I looked at my partner. Then with the excitement and arrogance of youth, we said, "Let's stay, let's enjoy the storm." We even convinced the other boys and girls in the other boats to ignore the warning. We ignored Colonel Haluk's recurring calls, because in our limited minds, we simply couldn't see what he saw. 5 minutes later, the sky turned black. The sea lifted with huge waves. The wind hit us like a hammer, and instantly I was in water, spiraling and completely losing sense of my direction. The boat was gone. My confidence was gone. 10 minutes later, the scene was tragic. Boats were upside down, people were scattered in the water, and the military boats had to come and pick us up. Colonel Haluk saved us, one by one, and I will never forget looking into his eyes as he pulled me from water. There was compassion, yes, but also very deep anger. He was angry because we had ignored his warnings. He was trying to course correct us, but we thought we knew better. I tell you this story because spirituality is exactly the same. We think we can enjoy the storm of life alone. We cling to our traditions and beliefs, thinking they will save us when waves get high, but we're mistaken. Today we are going to talk about the guide. We are going to explore why we must strip away dogma and tradition to survive reality, and the 7 steps of falling in love with truth. A true guide is not someone floating on a cloud. Colonel Haluk didn't stay in his office with his medals. He came down to water. He got his hands wet. He taught us how to tie knots. This is the secret of a guide. They come down to our level to take us up gradually with themselves. The guide knows that if they start talking about non-existence, absolute truth, we won't understand, we won't digest. It is too high. So they start with what we know. They start with our pain, our anxiety, our boredom. But there's a catch. When we first come to a guide, we come carrying heavy bags. We carry bags labeled tradition, religion, mainstream success, and social rules. We think these bags are valuable. We think our dogmas are our maps. My dogma at 14 years old was, "I'm a strong, independent sailor. Storms are just fun challenges." That was a belief, not a fact. It was dead knowledge. But Colonel's fresh knowledge was, the wind has shifted 20 degrees. This is a killer storm. He wasn't consulting a tradition or a holy book on sailing. He was actually looking into the sky and the actual water. A true guide helps you to replace stagnant knowledge, dogmas, traditions, organized teachings with fresh knowledge, direct insight, and perception. Organized teachings often tell you what to see. See the world as sinful. See the world as a test. The guide tells you how to see. Look at your anger. Don't label it. Just look at it. If you are trying to navigate the ocean of life using a map drawn 2000 years ago by people who never saw your specific storm, you will drown. The guide teaches you to read the wind now. Once my chest was burning with anxiety, my mind clouded by depression. For more than 10 years before that, I had studied everything: quantum physics, psychology, Sufism, Buddhism, Hinduism, New Age teachings, you name it. I had read countless self-help books, and yet I felt like a failure. I was still the same old anxious me. Inside, there was a black hole. No matter what I put into it, new friends, new country, new jobs, Nothing filled it. I was always empty. I realized then that the problem wasn't the world, it was me. I had to change. I yearned for something infinite to fill that void. I love Atatürk, I love Ismail Emre, I love Krishnamurti and Yunus Emre. But reading their words wasn't enough. They were beautiful and profound, but they couldn't answer my questions while reading their work. I realized I needed a living person, a living guide to show me the truth right now and walk with me, guide me, help me out. I needed someone to show me and help me to stop fighting myself. One night back in 2012, in total frustration, I screamed at the universe, "This is enough. I accept myself as I am. With all my goodness and badness, with all my faults and weaknesses, I accept myself as I am." The next morning, the internal critic was gone. The burning in my chest had turned into warmth. I stopped fighting. I had accepted the self fully, and in doing so, I had started to let it go. This was my turning point. This is when I truly become ready for the guide. This process of merging with the guide, of dropping your dogmas and learning to see, doesn't happen overnight. We can see this as a 7-step journey if you like. Step 1. Liking. You meet the guide. This happens when you are ready and you yearn for it. Yearn to understand. Yearn to know the truth. And the guide finds you. That finds you. You see their passion. You see their skill and say, "I like this person. They aren't just repeating mainstream platitudes. They know something real that I don't know." Step 2. Loving. Liking deepens. You start to love the way the guide lives. You love the silence they carry. You realize that being near them makes you feel more like yourself than when you're following the herd. You start to love the sea, not just the idea of sailing. Step 3. Divine yearning. This is where it gets deep. You stop looking for tips and tricks, hacks to fix your life. You stop looking for a new belief system to replace the old one. You start yearning for the source of their peace. You say, "I don't just want my guide's words, I want to see the world through his eyes." Step 4. The burning is the hard part. This is the storm. As you get closer to truth, your ego starts to burn. The guide shows you your arrogance by holding up a mirror to your jealousy, your pettiness, your reliance on dead traditions. He does not do that by pointing at your mistakes, but he does so with love and tells about his own experiences with great patience over and over again. If you reflect and see, then it burns. It hurts to let go of the beliefs that made you feel safe, but it is a cleaning fire. This is burning love. Step 5. The acceptance and burnout. The ego fights, and finally it exhausts itself. It is not just a defeat, it is acceptance. You realize that all your strategies to be special, to be right, to be safe, they're all just heavy clothes weighing you down in the water. You let go of the mainstream thinking. You stop swimming against the current. This is where self-acceptance comes in. It's not about liking everything about yourself, it's about seeing your ego, your fears, your limitations, and accepting that is not you and you at the same time. You accept the self as a construct, a heavy coat that you can take off. You stop trying to improve the coat. You simply accept it is too heavy and it is not yours and you can drop it. The self burns out because you stop feeding it with resistance and attachment. You accept the storm. You accept your helplessness. And in that acceptance, the struggle burns away. Step 6. Nothingness. You are no longer the self. You're no longer the ego. You are empty. But this isn't a sad emptiness. It is the emptiness of a flute, hollow, so that the music of life can play through it. You are not a separate entity. You're just awareness of the wind and the water and the music. Step 7. Oneness. There is no longer you and the guide. There is no longer the sailor and the colonel. There is just life flowing. You become the truth. You realize that guide was never outside of you. You and the guide are one and none. The guide is not just to show you your mess. Yes, They will show you your anxiety, they will show you your ego, but it is only half of the job. Colonel Haluk didn't just want to save us from drowning, he wanted us to become sailors who respected sea, sailors who could read the sky without a manual. A true guide points you to the limitless life of a human. They want you to experience the world with fresh eyes and love. Imagine waking up tomorrow and seeing your partner, seeing your job, seeing your street, not through the filter of tradition, what life should be, what wife should be, what a job should mean, not through the filter of mainstream thinking. Success is money, failure is bad. Imagine seeing them as if you have just arrived this planet Earth for the first time, like a child. In my book Love's Touch, there is a phrase, senden sana sesleniyorum. I'm calling to you from within you. The guide is that voice. It is the voice of your own potential, screaming to be heard over the noise of your ego and the noise of your society. What is the genuine question? How do we start? We start by questioning the map we have been given. When I was in the water, spiraling, I finally stopped knowing. I finally admitted I am helpless. And that was when a hand reached out and pulled me up. You don't need to wait for the crash. You can ask today. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and ask the guide within. Who is the living human who can walk with me, who can guide me? What dogmas am I holding on to that are blinding me to the stone? What fresh truths I'm refusing to see because it doesn't fit my tradition? Listen, not with your brain, the silence that follows. We are walking this path together. From the liking to the burning to the living, you're not alone in the boat. If you are ready to stop spiraling and start sailing, subscribe to Know Yourself and Live. Actually, you're calling to you from within you. See you in the next video. Peace out. Thanks for watching.